Hello dear paragliding community. I want to talk about the paragliders topic. I want to talk about how to untangle the lines of the paraglider. I try to do this video in English language. I don't have to use English in everyday's life or at work, so it's not that easy, but since most of paraglider pilots speak English at least a little bit, I want to try. I decided to do this video indoors in my flat because it is cold outside and dark and windy and wet, and yes, it's end of November in Germany, and especially the wind, I think, could disturb the video because of its noise. The method I want to demonstrate, I just saw that there is a method that works, but I couldn't memorize it in this moment. But afterwards I tried to figure it out. I think I made some progresses which I want to transfer to you. At first I want to show my paraglider to you. Please follow me. I will take the camera in my hand. It could wobble a bit. This is the riser of my glider. These are the lines or leashes, or perhaps it is the ropes. I'm not sure which one is the correct expression. This is my glider. Its left side is folded, but its right side is unfolded. So all I want to demonstrate, I will demonstrate with its right side. But it is the same for the left side in principle. My glider has 4 levels of lines, A, B, C and D level, and 3 A lines. The A lines have a red color, and this is the innermost A line, this is the middle A line, and this is the outer A line of the glider. First thing to do is to tangle the lines. What I'm going to do now, just by taking the riser and letting it fall through all the lines, just by chance. One time and a further time. I hope you can agree that these are tangled lines. Before I start, I try to have them loose. The lines should lay loose on the ground. I'm not too accurate with this. When they lay rather loose, then I think it's alright. An helpful idea to me is to think that paraglider's line can't have real knots, because it has no free ends, no open ends. Both ends of a line are fixed, one at one side attached to the wing, at the opposite side it is attached to the riser. And in order to get a real knot, we would have to pull an free end of a line through a loop, and this is not possible with a paraglider's line. So I think that's increasing confidence that things are not that bad as they may look. First step of the method, first aim is to untangle the innermost A line. So I grip the innermost A line at its wing side and follow it with my hand from wing side to the riser side. More by feeling than by looking. I reached the riser. I will put the camera onto the board at first. I check whether it's still the innermost A line in my hand, here at the point where the line is attached to the riser. I can check that it is still at the innermost position. And now I have just to do, now I just have to pull my hand backwards through all the lines. And in order to avoid further tanglings, I first conduct the tip of the riser to the point where the line is attached to the riser and grip it with my hand as one point and pull it backwards through all the lines, and this should free the innermost A line. And yes, I hope you can see it, that the innermost A line is free now. Yes, I hope you can see it. It's free, and in order to save the state, I put the innermost A line around my neck, so it is free and will be free doing all the process from now on. So next step is to unbind the middle A line. Now when the innermost is free, I do it in almost the same way as I did with the innermost A line. So again I grip the middle A line now at its wing side with my hand. And follow the track of the middle A line from wing side to riser side. I have just one free hand because I'm holding the camera with my left hand. So it's a bit tricky, but no apologies, it has to work somehow. Okay, I think I got it. Okay, I will put the camera onto the board again. So this situation, to me, it is the key situation of the whole process, of the whole method. And I try to account this situation as being a constellation of just 3 objects. You could object that here are more, because here are 16 lines at the riser side in the case of my glider, but I prefer to reduce the complexity of the situation to just having 3 objects. And the first object is the innermost A line around my neck. Second object is the middle A in my hand, and third object is all the other lines, the rest of all the lines. I treat them as being just one object. Yes, why can I do? It is because all the other lines run in the same way across the middle A. They lay all in the same position towards the middle A, and as well they lay all in the same position towards the innermost A line. This doesn't exclude that they may be twisted among each other. I'm sure they are twisted among each other, but towards the middle A line they all lay in the same position. So that's the first important feature to me of this key situation. And the second important key feature of this situation to me is that I account my hand and my arm as being the middle A. Hand and arm represent the middle A. And this means that in the same way, any of the other lines, doesn't matter which one, any of the other lines runs across my arm, it runs across the middle A. if it runs across my arm from the little fingers to the thumb side of the arm, then as well it crosses the middle A from there to here. And this to me is a helpful thing, a helpful idea, because it's much easier to follow a line crossing my arm than to try to follow a line crossing another line. For human eyes, I think it's confusing to try to track a line crossing a line, but it's easy to follow a line crossing an arm because my arm is a big object. So that's the second feature, and I think both of these features of this key situation are caused by that moment when I had gripped the middle A line with my hand at the wing side. Because in this moment the middle A was the topmost of all the lines. The innermost A line was not part of the game anymore, it was around my neck and outside, but among all the other lines, the middle A line was the topmost of all the lines. All the other lines laid down on the ground. That means that they were all in the same position towards the middle A, and that's the first feature. And the second feature was about that hand and arm represent the middle A, and as well it is caused by that moment, because when I gripped the middle A with my hand at the wing side, there was no other line between my hand and the middle A. There was no line between hand and arm and the middle A line. And then I shifted my hand from wing side to riser side, but no other line has had the chance to get between hand and arm and middle A. So that's why I can still treat my hand and arm and the middle A as just one object. What do I have to do in this key situation? Just one thing. I have to conduct the tip of the riser through these both A lines, through the innermost and the middle A line. And the only question left is whether I have to do it from top to bottom or from bottom to top. And this depends on the way how the bunch of the rest lines runs across my arm. If it starts here, the bunch starts here where it is attached to the riser, and here in this case it runs from the little fingers to the thumb side, and always when it is like this I have to go from top to bottom. If it had been the opposite case, if the bunch of the rest lines had ran from thumb side to little finger side, I would have had to go from bottom to top. But here it runs from little fingers to thumb side, so I have to go from top to bottom through the innermost and the middle A line. And now we should be a big step further on, and perhaps you can see that the middle A line is free now, and that means that the game is won. I promise that it's not complicated afterwards. If these both certain A lines are free, then it's not complicated anymore. Last step to do is just to sort the lines in the way everybody knows. I always do it from D to C to B to A, and then again from D to C to B to A. So I do it in 2 steps, but that's a question of taste, I think. Yes, that's the method. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video, and bye, dear paragliding community.